Hello, everybody. It is the Dependent Fanatic staying up late with you tonight, and I have completed the college football resume ranking for this week after week 3. What a Saturday of college football. I stayed up to watch Colorado beat Colorado State in double overtime by 8 points. We had some upsets, great games across the board. It was the week that I have been waiting for, and as I look ahead to week 4, it's going to be even better. Week 4 is chock full of great games. I'm going to give you my top 25 resume ranking, and actually I'm going to give you 27 teams because Michigan is right there on the outside, so I had to put them in there for all of you. Surprisingly enough, Notre Dame is number 1 in this week's resume ranking. They are 3-0. They have a win at North Carolina State. Their average margin of victory is 38 points through 3 games. And their next opponent is Ohio State at home. They are 3-0. Epic game coming up there this week. Washington is number 2 in the poll, 3-0. They have the road win at Michigan State. Just obliterated them, 35. Their average margin of victory is 35 points per game. They have California at home. They are 2-1. Number 3 is Auburn. They are 3-0. Yes, Auburn, because they have the road victory and a good average margin of victory. They won at Cal, and they have a 27-point margin of victory. But they are at Texas A&M this week, 2-1 team. Number 4 is Florida State, 3-0 for Florida State. They have that neutral site win versus LSU. Their average margin of victory is 25 points, and they're at Clemson in the ACC. The two Titans play this week in the ACC. Clemson is 2-1. And that is your 4 teams that would make the playoff right now, according to my resume ranking, if the season ended today. But it doesn't end today. Number 5 is Texas. Texas is 3-0. They have that win on the road at Alabama. But how good is Alabama now after struggling versus South Florida? Texas has a 19 average margin of victory, and they are at Baylor, a 1-2 team this week. A lot of road games for these teams, 15 road games to be exact. So a majority of these teams will be on the road. That will shake things up even more. BYU is number 6, 3-0. They have that good win at Arkansas that just happened. They have an average margin of victory by 15 points, and they are at Kansas this week, who is also 3-0. Number 7 is Colorado, skated by in double overtime tonight. 3-0, though. They still have that good win versus TCU. TCU still only has the 1 loss. It was on the road, and they have an 11-point average margin of victory. Their next game is at Oregon, another 3-0 team. Penn State is number 8. They are 3-0. They beat West Virginia at home. So this is where the road games and neutral site games go away for a little bit. Penn State had the home victory they have an average margin of victory by 32 points. They have Iowa coming up at home, a 3-0 team. So right there, bam, 3 matchups of undefeated teams. And that's just the beginning of next week. Penn State is number 8, 3-0. Like I said, excuse me, it's been a long night. Miami, here, let me just take a sip. Number 9 is Miami, 3-0. They beat Texas A&M at home. Their average margin of victory is 30 points per game. They are at Temple this week. What is with these big power teams going to these Group 5 teams? Like Iowa State at Ohio, they lost. Alabama at USF, they almost lost, could have lost. Temple is 2-1. Better watch out, Miami. Number 10 is Duke, 3-0. Clemson is their good win, and they have an average margin of victory of 27 points. They are at Connecticut, who is 0-3. Should be a bloodbath for Duke. Number 11 is Washington State, undefeated. They beat Wisconsin at home a couple weeks ago. Our average margin of victory is 26. Oregon State is who they have next, a undefeated team. Utah has an undefeated team coming up this week in UCLA. They are 3-0. They beat Florida at home, and their average margin of victory is 15. But let's remember, they're still without Cam Rising. Number 13 is North Carolina, undefeated. They beat Minnesota tonight. They have a 13 average margin of victory. They are at Pittsburgh next week, 1-2 team. Missouri is number 14, 3-0. Kansas State is who they beat. They had the longest field goal at the end of regulation in SEC history. It was a walk-off field goal, longest one in SEC history. They have Memphis at home, an undefeated team out of the American. Number 15 is your first one-loss team of the entire season of the resume ranking, LSU. They went on the road and beat Mississippi State. Their only loss is a neutral site game to Florida State, who is the number 4 team on this ranking. They have Arkansas, a 2-1 team, coming up this week. Florida is number 16, the second one-loss team. They beat Tennessee at home. Their average margin of victory is 14. Their only loss is at Utah, who is the number 12 team on this ranking. They have Charlotte, a 1-2 team, coming up this week. And now we go to undefeated teams who haven't beaten anybody, but their average margins of victory are so great, you just rank them in that order, right? That's what I did. Oklahoma, 3-0, 46 points margin of victory. That's pretty damn good. And they have at Cincinnati, a 2-1 team, coming up this week. Number 18 is USC, 3-0. They have a 42 average margin of victory, and they are at Arizona State, a 1-2 team. 19 is Syracuse, another ACC team, 3-0, 40 points average margin per victory. That is pretty good. They played a bunch of nobodies like the rest of these, but they have Army coming up, 2-1 is Army. Number 20 is Ole Miss, 3-0. They have a 36 average margin of victory. They are at Alabama coming up this week, who is 2-1. Another great game there. Number 21 is Ohio State, the other end of that Notre Dame-Ohio State game. They are ranked here via the resume ranking, 3-0. They are beating teams by 34 points per game. Number 22 is Georgia. The number 1 team makes a sighting here in the resume ranking, 3-0. They beat teams by 31 points per game, and they have UAB at home, a 1-2 team. So that will not help their resume if they win. It definitely will hurt their resume if they lose, but they'll probably still hover right around there. Number 23, UCLA, out of the Pac-12, another Pac-12 team, undefeated. They're beating teams by 30 points per game. They are at Utah, as aforementioned. 24 is Oregon State, another Pac-12 team, 3-0. They're beating teams by 30 points per game. And they are at Washington State, undefeated team, like aforementioned. Number 25 is UCF, the new Big 12 team. They are 3-0. They're beating teams by 29 points per game on average, and they are at Kansas State this week, 2-1 team. That team that lost to Missouri on that last second field goal. And here is Michigan, number 26 in the nation. Actually, number 27 because I forgot Oregon. But Michigan is 3-0, and they are beating teams by 27 points per game. They have Rutgers this week, a 3-0 team. And like I said, Oregon should be tied for number 18 because they're 3-0 and they're beating teams by 42, just like USC is. They have Colorado at home, like I mentioned before. So chock full of great games this upcoming week. The teams right now, resume-wise, you got number 1 Notre Dame, 2 Washington, 3 Auburn, 4 Florida State, 5 Texas, 6 BYU. Colorado is number 7. Penn State is number 8. Miami, number 9. Duke, number 10. Washington State, number 11. And Utah, number 12. There's your future playoff. 13, North Carolina. 14, Missouri. 15, LSU. 16, Florida. 17, Oklahoma. Number 18 is USC. Number 19 is Syracuse. Number 20 is Mississippi. Ohio State is number 21. Georgia, number 22. UCLA, number 23. Oregon State, number 24. UCF, number 25. Michigan, number 26. And Oregon, like I said, should be up there 18. Which pushes everyone down. Michigan's actually 27. So there you have it, the resume ranking. Remember to like the video. Let me know what you think about the ranking down below in the comments. And share with other people. Subscribe if you have not. And it's just been a wonderful night. Go Blue. They got their victory. Wasn't the prettiest, just like a lot of teams out there. But survive and advance. And man, this week coming up is going to be amazing.